I feel like I just made the situation worse.
If I tell you, promise you won't do anything reckless?
If you're looking for a fight, I'm happy to oblige. Deep down, I know she was right.
You have no intention of backing off Jack Brennan, do you?
Cyrus killed Dex, and I'm gonna prove it.
General Hospital latest update. Josslyn refuses to back down in her quest for justice, putting herself in Cyrus' crosshairs. Brooke Lynn confesses to Gio about her mistake with Willow, while Chase risks everything by sharing intel with Dante. Meanwhile, secrets explode as Lois reveals the shocking identity of Brooke Lynn's child, and Willow makes a game-changing decision. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital, Josslyn's Justice Quest, BLQ and Gio Bond, Chase's reckless intel. General Hospital spoilers reveal a preview video clip has been released for Thursday, February 6, 2025. The show's Josslyn Jax, Eden McCoy refusing to back down. Brooke Lynn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, opens up to Giovanni Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza. Meanwhile, Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, is about to tell Dante Falconeri, Dominic Zamprogna, some intel, but that could be a mistake. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in today's episode of the ABC soap opera. Josslyn Jax Justice Quest. GH spoilers for Thursday, February 6th reveal that Josslyn will not back down from investigating Cyrus Renault, Jeff Kober. Josslyn has already managed to sneak into Cyrus' room. However, Josslyn also disturbed a flower in Cyrus' Bible, which was a big red flag. When Cyrus is cornered, he usually does something unpredictable and even more dangerous. Plus, Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, warned Joss that her actions could allow Cyrus to get away with murder. In the preview video clip for today's episode, Joss says that she is going to prove that Cyrus killed Dex Heller, Evan Hofer. This will put Josslyn in grave danger though. GH spoilers, Lucas Jones warning. While Josslyn is trying to get answers, Lucas Jones, Van Hanses, continues warning Carly Spencer, Laura Wright. Even though Lucas thinks that Carly's dating love is hazardous, she fully intends to continue seeing Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna. Lucas is right, Brennan is keeping secrets, and since it now involves Joss, what will happen next? Harrison Chase's reckless intel. General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, February 6th reveal that Dante was iced out of the investigation into Sam McCall's, Kelly Monaco death. Anna had her reasons for that, but Dante still wants details. The daily preview clip shows Chase agreeing to tell Dante some information. However, Chase wants to be sure that Dante won't do anything reckless. Judging from the distraught look on Dante's face, Chase might want to reconsider giving him any details about the case. General Hospital spoilers, Thursday, February 6, 2025. Over at the Quartermain mansion, Brooke Lynn opens up to Gio. BLQ says that she feels she just made the situation so much worse. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watrose, threatens Drew Kane Quartermain, Cameron Matheson. Drew might not think Nina is all that scary, but she's about to partner up with Carly. Plus, Willow Tate Corinthos, Caitlin McMullen, has a revelation. Willow admits to someone that she is right. So, could Willow have a change of heart after talking to Nina? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Today's next update, Lois reveals the identity of Brooke Lynn's child, and Joss is hot on Cyrus' trail. General Hospital, Willow moves back in with Nina, Tracy fumes that Willow left with the kids, and Danny and Rocco learn the truth about Sam's death. Curtis runs into Portia at the hospital and explains he's here as Trina asked him to speak to her friend Kai, who is having a rough time with his injury. Brad interrupts to ask Portia if he could leave a bit earlier today to work out with his personal trainer. Portia says that's not a lot of notice, but it should not be a problem if he gets someone to cover his shift. Brad thanks her and walks off. Confused, Curtis thought his wife couldn't stand Brad. Portia explains Stella seems to like Brad, so she's trying to give him a second chance. Still, Curtis thinks he needs to have a chat with Brad, given all the things he's pulled over the years. Portia says that's unnecessary, but he walks off. Lucas sees Carly to the elevator and asks her to at least think about what he said about Jack. She insists she's fine, and Lucas knows she won't back off seeing Jack. Carly asks if they can go to dinner now. Lucas must drop off his tablet at the nurse's station first. There, Brad shows Stella his developing biceps. Lucas comments he's looking good, and whatever his program is, it is clearly working. Annoyed, Carly clears her throat to get Lucas away from Brad, and reminds him they have plans. Curtis goes to the nurse's station and asks Stella for a moment to speak to Brad alone. She leaves them, and Curtis asks Brad if he's still working with Selena Wu. Brad insists he and his aunt aren't working together. Curtis is glad to hear that, as he doesn't want his wife or auntie to get in trouble with her though being associated with him. Brad swears he would never do anything to jeopardize the second chance he's been given here. Curtis checks back in with his aunt, and Stella believes Brad has turned a corner and is committed to a fresh start. Meanwhile, Portia tells Brad to enjoy the rest of his day off. Brad asks if her husband knows about their arrangement. Portia says he doesn't and to use discretion in the future so that nobody else finds out about this arrangement. Brennan comes into Bobby's and grabs a table. Joss, who was at the counter, joins him. He asks if she's found anything linking Cyrus to Dex's death. Joss thought she had a lead but says it didn't pan out. He urges her not to give up, and she assures him she isn't. Joss explains she broke into Cyrus' place, but there was nothing incriminating there and no signs that he even lived there. Jack says that suggests Cyrus is operating out of somewhere else. She says, so a hideout? She doesn't know how she'd find it. He says every criminal leaves a trail, so just be patient. Joss switches the subject to her mother. She knows they are close and asks him not to tell her mom about this as she's stressed enough. Jack says he won't say a word. Carly and Lucas enter, and she wonders what Joss and Jack are talking about. Jack says he was telling Joss about the thermal baths in Germany. Joss returns to studying, and Lucas goes with her to see if she needs help. Alone, Carly hopes Jack didn't tell Joss about Valentine. He didn't, and she thanks him as she doesn't want Joss worrying about her. Jack says he'll never forget that she saved his life. He also enjoyed the time they spent together. She thinks it will be hard to top the starry skies of Germany. Jack sees that as a challenge. When Carly's phone rings, she excuses herself to take it. At the counter, Lucas wonders to Joss about what is going on with Carly and Jack. Joss says as long as it's not sunny, she's on board. He sees she's fixated on searching the web for Cyrus, and she asks him if he's ever heard of a Dr. Austin Gatlinholt. He doesn't know the guy, and she fills him in on who he is and that he testified at Cyrus' parole hearing. Lucas warns Joss that Cyrus is dangerous and that she shouldn't put herself on his radar. Joss promises not to do anything. Joss rushes over to Jack after her mom leaves to take a phone call. She asks him if he could find out if Austin bought or leased a house near Port Charles around the time Cyrus got out of prison. Jack says he'll look into it. At the Coeur d'Alene Gatehouse, Gio shows up with one of Amelia's toys. Brooke Lynn, who is still there, explains Willow took the kids back to Nina's. Brooke Lynn admits it's her fault, and she tried to show Willow a little tough love, but it backfired. Gio thinks Willow will come around, but Brooke Lynn fears she made everything worse. He says he understands how hard it might have been for Willow to be here without Michael, and as much as he loves Brooke Lynn's family, they are a lot. Brooke Lynn laughs, calling that the understatement of a century. Gio says Willow is an adult, and she is not responsible for her actions. Tracy enters and asks if Brooke Lynn spoke to Willow. Tracy looks around and asks where Willow is. Brooke Lynn says things didn't go as planned and Willow moved out with the kids. Tracy knew this situation had a shelf life and decides to go call the lawyers. In the kitchen, Dante talks with Chase about Anna putting him on leave. He knows Chase is part of Sam's investigation and needs a favor. He needs to know who the person of interest is, but Chase can't tell him. Rocco walks in and overhears Dante begging Chase to tell him who killed Sam. He hides in the hallway and listens as Chase asks Dante not to do anything reckless and reveals their lead suspect is Cyrus. Dante asks why Cyrus would want to kill Sam. Chase says they don't have a motive, and he can't do anything with this information. Dante understands, and he won't jeopardize Sam getting justice. Tracy enters, interrupts Dante and Chase, and tells them about the developments with Drew and Willow. The spying Rocco takes off. Tracy wants the cops to find out if they have any security flaws that allowed Drew to get in. The guys decide to walk the fence line. Dante and Chase arrive at the gatehouse where Brooke, Lynn, and Gio still are. They explain what they are doing and wanted to talk to Willow about how Drew got in. Brooke Lynn says Willow and the kids moved out, and Dante was expecting that to happen. He says he couldn't stay at Sam's because the memories made it impossible for him to move on, and Willow likely felt the same about Michael. As they discuss what Willow and Drew did, Dante notes secrets destroy lives, and they always say it's not the crime but the cover-up that gets someone in the end. In his Metro courtroom, Martin speaks with Willow over the phone about her decision to move back in with Nina. There is a knock at the door, so he tells Willow that they will speak later. It's Lois, who says she really needs a lawyer. She thanks him for meeting her here, as she can't take the chance of being seen in his office, given that he's representing Willow. Lois needs his word what they discuss stays between them. He says of course, as long as she pays his retainer. She sends him money electronically and they get down to business. She explains this is a delicate topic that involves her daughter and an event that happened 21 years ago. Now this secret could come to light and hurt a lot of people. Martin can't help her unless she tells him everything. Lois explains her daughter and husband are trying to have a baby but just found out her husband is sterile. Lois says her daughter has already had a child. She had a baby in high school and gave it up for adoption. However, the father never knew, which is complicated because their families are close. She reveals the father is Dante, and his mother and her father are very good friends of hers. She needs to make sure they never find out about this baby. Lois goes on to explain it was a private adoption, and he was placed with someone she was close to, a member of her extended family, and Brooklyn doesn't know. Now, Brooklyn is interested in finding her child, and Lois asks if that is possible. Could she get the adoption unsealed? Before they can continue, there is another knock at the door. It's Tracy, who barges into his room, ranting about Willow. She is surprised to see Lois and asks why she's here. Lois says for the same reason she is. She heard what happened. Martin tells Tracy her deal with Willow was not legally binding, and she has no one to blame but herself for making Willow feel so uncomfortable that she had to flee. Lois suggests to Tracy they leave and mouths to Martin, "I'm sorry," as they depart. Lois returns later without Tracy, apologizes, and needs to know if the truth could come out. Martin says now that the boy is of age, he could ask to see his birth certificate. Lois says he has no idea he's adopted. Martin then suggests if Brooklyn insisted on finding her son, the agency that handled the adoption would have to track him down and inform him that he was adopted. Lois panics that can't happen, and this would blow his whole world apart. Martin asks if she is in contact with this young man. Lois admits they live in the same house, and Brooklyn's son is Gio. At Nina's, Willow thanks Nina for letting her stay there but admits deep down Brooklyn was right about one thing. She never should have been with Drew in the same house she shared with Michael. She knows she should have turned Drew away when he showed up this morning, but she couldn't. Willow explained that trying to get along with the Quartermaines has been difficult, so she was relieved when Drew showed up. However, after he left, all she could think about was Michael and how much she still cares about him. Nina understands as they built a life together, and his accident robbed her of closure. Nina says being here will give her space to breathe and focus on her next steps with the kids. There is a knock at the door and Nina answers it to see it's Drew. Nina asks why he's here. Drew explains Willow texted him and asked him to come over. Willow excuses herself to check on the kids and turn their lights off. Nina lashes out at Drew for putting Willow in a position to lose custody of her kids. Drew says he cares about Willow and the kids. Nina yells at him to do them all a favor and move to DC. Drew says if he does, he's taking Willow with him. Nina tells Drew that she will do anything for her daughter and grandchildren, so if he wants a fight, she's happy to oblige. Nina lets Drew know that he's not taking her daughter anywhere, and before he arrived, Willow was telling her how she still cares about Michael. Willow returns and asks to speak with Drew alone. Nina leaves them, and Willow tells Drew what they did was a mistake, and they were disrespectful to Michael and the kids. He agrees and never meant to hurt her. Willow says she's still processing the end of her marriage. Drew says for better or worse, their relationship is out there, and they can be together if it's what she wants. Willow says she wants to be with him, and as they kiss, Nina walks back into the room and sees them in a passionate lip lock. Nina calls Carly and says they have a mutual problem and they should deal with it once and for all. At Alexis' place, she sits Danny down, along with Christina and Molly, and tells him that the authorities believe his mom's death wasn't an accident. Danny is confused. Alexis explains the hospital and police believe someone purposely gave Sam the drug that caused her heart attack. He asks, "Are you saying someone killed my mom on purpose? Who would do this?" Alexis says they don't know and the police are investigating. Molly and Christina tell him that right now they have to wait, and Sam wasn't the only victim. Danny asks if they are going to tell Scout. Alexis asks how he feels about that. He thinks she's too young to know, and Alexis agrees that they feel the same way. Danny asks if his dad knows. Alexis doesn't think Jason knows. Danny realizes he's in Germany with Michael, and he should know when he gets back. Alexis agrees, but also says it's not their job to get involved in the investigation. Molly says it's late, so she should take Danny home. Alexis hugs Danny goodbye. Alone, Christina says Danny handled that better than she expected. Alexis agrees, but admits his bringing up Jason was unsettling. Christina isn't surprised, and Jason is someone who gets vengeance. Christina knows her mother thinks of it as a dirty word, but not everyone looks at vengeance the same way she does. Back at the Quartermaines, Danny tells Rocco what he learned about his mom. Rocco explains he heard his dad and Chase talking about the case, and they suspect Cyrus Renault killed his mom. On the next General Hospital, Jens meets with Drew. Cyrus demands to know from the manager of Turning Woods who is spreading lies about him. Natalie accompanies Sunny to see the doctor in LA. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.